Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.
Everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. It's that time of year where people are out and about and are looking for things to do. Crawfish season is over, so you might turn to shrimp or crabs and that kind of stuff. But it has not been a good year, and it actually hasn't been a good year for very long when it comes to our shrimping area. So we're going to talk with Kim Chauvin for a couple of segments. You, of course, on the District 8 of the parish government.
No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you.
But uniquely, you're also the owner of Blue Water Seafood and David Chauvin Seafood down in Dulac. So we were saying this is not just a Terrebonne Parish issue. Reading stories from Biloxi, by Labatry, all the same, that fishermen are going out, shrimpers are going out, not coming back, and the number of fishermen going out has really declined. Do you seeing the same thing?
Yes, we are seeing the same thing, and then we're seeing an influx of fishermen working to sell their own catch. And pretty much, I've been telling Sea Grant that they need to do business classes so that they can understand the value of their product and what they're putting into it, because I see a lot of seafood that is being sold for such low prices that they're actually going backwards. Right. And don't even realize it.
Right, hurting themselves.
So they're hurting themselves. And so I would like to see business classes held for them so that we can learn. It's how I learned. That's how I started out. My husband was a commercial fisherman for many, many years. And when the first influx of imports came in, we began to sell our own catch. I took a 16-week course at Nichols. I had Vincent Canada, who took me under his wing, which thank God, because he just kind of pushed me in different venues. And he took me out my comfort zone, which I wasn't appreciating at the time, but I appreciate it now because he was such a good mentor in helping me to realize what I needed to do. And so those are some of the things that I would like to see for fishermen in our area.
Yeah, because I think a lot of fishermen think it's, the processors, right? It's the dock that's causing all the problem. But obviously,
I get a lot.
We're all in it together.
Yes, I get a lot of flack. And listen, this is the thing: without the fishermen, without the docks, without the processors, we've got nothing. We tie into each other. And so one of the things that we do at our place is that we pay more for a bigger shrimp to run through a cryogenic tunnel. So we haven't had a lot of our fishermen going off and paddle their own, because they go out, they catch a lot, they come in, we unload them, they know what the drill is in doing that. And so but I wasn't peeling shrimp. So when you peel shrimp, you become in the commodity part of it. So when you're a commodity, that's a whole different world. And I'm just looking at sales from 2023 to 2024 are down by 20%. So that means a lot of restaurants and seafood markets may not be using local. Right. We got a problem here.
Well, according to this report I'd read, 94% of the seafood imported into the United States is imported. It's not from, so only 6% down. We're only down to 6% now.
To be honest with you, not one restaurant in Louisiana has an excuse to use junk.
Right.
Not one.
Right.
Not even these chain restaurants. They do not have an excuse, because they could be using top of the line product, which has made me look into exporting.
Right.
It's a year and a half and I'm still not got a license yet. But you import something into this country and you get it just like that. So we're almost to that verge of being able to export, and I'm not one to put all my eggs in one basket and do that. So you're going to do port and port, keep port here and port there. But I'm just looking at fishermen.
So down 20% from a year ago, which probably down more than that from the year before that, right?
Yes. And then we're looking at percentages of shrimp loss unloaded. So that's fishermen coming to me to unload. And so from 2022 to 2023, it was only like 8%. 8% loss. Okay. So it's doable. It's not fun, but it's doable. And then you look from 2023 to 2024, 52%. You just got cut in half.
Right.
So now try and pay insurances and DEQ for what they want, and every other government entity that wants their fair share or a cut into it. It gets to be a little expensive, and not counting Boxes are up by 30%. Bags are up by 33%. Insurance.
Basic inflation, right?
Right. And it's taken its toll on that part of it. Right now, we have bills that came forth in the state, and then we have a trade case that is also on the federal side. And so, sad as it is, our industry has to pay for that trade case. Mm-hmm. You would think that the United States would take on helping industries, right, because you're taking the money that comes from this. Every bit of the money that comes from this goes straight into the general fund.
Sure.
So you would think that they would do something, and it's not the case. Right. So in our trade case, we filed October, I think 23rd of 2023, and it's a long, drawn-out process. And this administration that we have here has drawn it out even longer because they've given all these countries extended times, which we have not seen before. They have not given extended times in this nature. So right now, we're looking at, we have a fisherman's questionnaire, and we have a dock processor's questionnaire. And if you have a boat, you fill out one. If you have a dock, you fill another. So guess what? I have to fill out 3 sets.
Right, of course.
So much fun, because this thing is like 58 pages. It's not a little bit of information. So the paperwork is due by July 26th. The hearing is October 16th. So that goes in before the commission to vote on by November 12th. It's pretty drawn out.
And that's going to the state?
This is federal.
Federal, okay.
This is federal.
Okay, so you got 10 days to fill out the paperwork.
From now.
And then
yes.
a couple, right.
Yes. And you have to get it in before the 26th so that they can therefore get it into the commission, and they can begin to look at it and decipher what the herded, like what your percentages of loss and different things like that. But I mean, it's pretty significant.
Well, meantime, and we're going to need to take a break, but meantime, you see what this federal government seems to be building, bending over forwards or backwards for a lot of people. And it just kind of frustrating. We can't take care of this that has been around since the turtle excluder devices back in the 70s and 80s. All right, we'll take a break. Another segment to go with Kim Chauvin right here on Bayou Time.
Cardiovascular Institute of the South is celebrating 40 years of delivering health care to our patients and communities. Founded by Dr. Craig Walker in 1983 and guided by a mission to provide the highest quality cardiovascular care available, CIS has pioneered hundreds of firsts to improve outcomes for cardiovascular diseases. Through new technology, virtual care, outpatient procedures, and national growth, CIS is improving lives and leading the way for advanced care and innovation.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. We're speaking with Councilman Kim Chauvin, who's also the owner of a couple of seafood houses. We're talking about seafood now. What can the feds do? So you're going to file for this program. What can they do, and how can they help us alleviate where 94% of the seafood is just imported in with American citizens trying to make a living?
Well, one of the things is when you look at the agencies that are taking care of it, whether it's Customs and FDA, their job is not being done. It is just not happening. Mm-hmm. And we have been fussing about this for 25 years. Mm-hmm. So before COVID, they were at a whole whopping 2% of testing all seafood, not just shrimp, but all seafood. Okay. After COVID,
I'm sorry, testing it for
chloramphenicol, testing for antibiotics to see. Well, no, not imported, but just with the chemicals.
Right, okay.
That are not supposed to be allowed into this country.
Right.
With all the technology that we have, you would think that Homeland Security would have it down pat when it comes to ports, right? Why is there still port shopping? Right. If I go to one port and I get caught, I can go to the other port and not get caught.
Right.
That's craziness to me.
And a radio just tells you, hey, they checked, and so you go to the next one.
Right. So without FDA doing their part in it, it makes it very hard for us, because after COVID, it was zero. And you had all this stuff. And so all this is backed up, and now it's jammed in here into this country, because this is where they send everything. You can't send it to the EU. They will destroy it.
Right.
They do not allow their citizens to eat that junk. That amazes me. Why are we the only country that allows all this junk in?
We're the biggest.
Right.
From size-wise.
But even with the EU, I mean, when we're looking at what's in food, so it just makes it really, really hard because we have been adamant that FDA begin to check more. I think they were at 0.5% of all seafood at this point. We're 2024.
Right.
And we're at 0.5%. EU is at 30 to 50%. That's
incredible.
insanity.
Yeah, it really is.
When you look at that. So, yeah, we have some problems there. So on the federal side, it's pushing this through. But also it is limiting the amount of imports into this country. It's too much. Where I think we're at 1.7 billion coming in. They only consume 1.2 billion. That's not counting what we catch here. Why are you allowing so much into this country?
Right.
It makes no sense.
Well, it ain't like you guys are price gouging, right?
No.
It's not like,
No, it's not like that at all. And so I took it to the state. And we made some bills. I sat on the Senate Seafood Safety Task Force, and I sat on the House Seafood Safety Task Force. Let me tell you, these are tongue twisters. And so we came up with some bills that we wanted. Now, in there, Louisiana Restaurant Association sat with us, and so did the Grocery Retailers Association. Instead of hashing it out in there, it was done behind our backs on the floor. Why? Why not? Let's get to this and let's really do some real bills that will benefit everyone in that. Now, I will tell you, we have a lot of local restaurants in our area, and I put it out on Facebook, the ones that use our local seafood. But we still have some who use imported, and I just
our restaurants.
I
mean, our supermarkets,
right?
too.
I don't get it. I don't get why you're not supporting the local. You want local dollars, yet you didn't. We had walk-ons that just did that.
Right.
They did a big old spiel about using local, and 2 years later they're using imports.
Yeah. Walmart, USA. And,
Right. And then all of a sudden it's more China. So.
Yeah, no, it's a sad thing to see. Now, as we look forward to an election coming up, right now it seems like sugar has pretty good protections. Our farmers seem like they have certain protections there as well. EVs, they're talking about, EVs maybe being built in Mexico, but we're going to tax them at 100%. Why not seafood, and why can't we get in line with something like that?
We'd have to have a champion to do that on the federal government side. And as far as I can see, we just don't have that.
Yeah.
We don't have it. We don't have it. Even with pulling in Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama and Florida, and along the coast, Georgia and
we'd have
North
to
and
have
South
OPEC
Carolina.
almost,
So we just, we keep hearing, well, the Midwest won't go for it, because it affects other things and
sure.
trade and stuff. So what I did was I went to the state and I said, these are some things we need. One, you have no idea how many importers you have in the state. You don't know where the stuff is to be recalled. Listen, when I went into these task forces, I asked a ton of questions and I spoke a lot about what was going on and why we needed it. So they came up with some bills. I would have preferred one really good bill, but it looks like you would have, Louisiana Restaurant Association fighting everything instead of doing it in that task force, and also the Grocery Retail Association. So it brought us to having all these little bitty bills. So now they can't use imported seafood in schools. Why were we allowing that? I don't know, but it makes no sense. We also have some standards that when it comes to packaging, go look at Boudreaux's and see what it is. It's not ours.
Right.
And that's crawfish. That's on the crawfish side.
Right.
But if you ever look at the packaging on shrimp, they would say product or packaged in USA. And in way underneath, in little bitty tiny letters, it'll have product of Thailand or product of India. Why so little?
Right.
And
It'll
so
all be the same size.
Right. So we have a imported seafood safety fund that we're going to do some testing with the monies that will be collected on that part of it. And so we're going to go from there, and we're going to have to rearrange some things for next year.
Kim, look, best of luck. But I think you said it already. It's been 20, 25 years we've been dealing with this, almost as long as saltwater intrusion, right?
I'm a fighter.
Right.
I'm a fighter. I'm not
we have
stopping.
to be.
Yeah,
we have to
yeah.
be. Well, thank you so much for the update. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be right back with more Bayou Time after this.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.